Good morning, Big Brother fans. Today is Thursday, September 19th. Should be day 66, depending on how you count days, but that's maybe something I'll bring up later. But it is day 66 in the Big Brother house, and we have an eviction happening tonight. And once again, I cannot say with certainty who is going tonight. And that's not even because we don't, or because we have a BEAI arena, because we don't. It's just because there's only 3 votes needed to evict. And I can only say with somewhat certainty that 2 of the votes are locked in. I'd say 3 votes are locked in, but they're going 2 different directions. And so we've got a couple of up-in-the-air votes. And those couple up-in-the-air votes are Cam and Chelsea, to be honest. It was yesterday that Chelsea seemed to be okay with voting out T-Core, but yesterday, which doesn't surprise me, I think Tuesday was I'm going to go along with what the House wants because there's no point in fighting anything today. And then yesterday she went along the lines of, no, we're going to try to save T-Core and because she's a better ally to me than Rubina. She didn't say that, but that's my guess is her thinking. And so she went out there and basically campaigned to keep T-Core. The only one that I think she was having a lot of influence on was Cam. And it came up about Leah's involvement in sowing distrust with Cam as being a possible reason that she's not trusting T-Core versus Rubina versus, that's the push. I can't tell you how it all settled out. I don't think it is settled out yet. I think it's still up in the air. I'm not sure which way it's going to go, frankly. Maybe we'll know later today. I'll certainly talk to you guys before the eviction. Again, I didn't talk to you yesterday afternoon. Most of the stuff, again, isn't happening until later in the day. There was a lot of talking going on, but it just nothing solidified other than it went kind of flipped the other direction, right? It kind of flipped to where Chelsea on Tuesday, Chelsea was saying, yes, I'll go along, and yesterday, no, she's not going along, and Cam wavered the other direction along with him. So I have not watched last night's episode. I did listen to, and I say listen because I basically played it in a reader, a recap of last night's episode that Big Brother Network posts. Frankly, nothing against their recap, but it was very straightforward a recap. It didn't tell me much that I didn't already know from watching the feeds. That Angela won the power veto, that Leah won the janky power veto, although it did get a couple of details that I didn't know. That the actual competition itself was a puzzle competition, and Leah was second place is what won the janky power veto, and that she had to do a little contest before, or right at the beginning of the power veto ceremony, and that was to knock down 5 bottles in 3 tosses, I think, of the bottle toss game, and she didn't do that. Now, what it didn't say is whether she was really trying or not, and my sense of it was that she wasn't going to really try, that she didn't want to use the janky power of veto. So my guess is, without having seen it and how convincing it was, is that she probably threw the janky power veto, and so that's why it didn't get used. But it didn't. The recap didn't say that if she acknowledged or not that she didn't want to use it. It just said that she didn't manage to knock down the bottles, so she didn't get to use it. And I may go back and watch it. I guess there was a lot of filler, and I may go back to watch it eventually. I say that, and usually I don't, just because real life. I didn't watch any TV last night. Actually I did. I watched a new show, a new regular ABC drama. I watched it on Hulu though, so it's like, oh, I watched an ABC drama on Hulu. But it was good. I can't remember. Olsen, I can't think of her name. The person. It's about a woman who's a very intelligent house cleaner or a custodian, and who becomes helps start working in the police force, solving crimes. It's kind of a comedy. It's a comedy. Investigative drama. It was good. I like it. It's something my wife and I can watch together. Remember, she hates Big Brother and reality TV, so we have to find other things to watch. And I enjoyed it. So, sorry, went down a little rabbit hole there. But so that was my recap of the show. Watching that. Again, the feeds, I did have the feeds on last night. I had the feeds on last night, but I had them muted a lot of the time, and then I would unmute them and kind of watch what was going on and then remute them. And I spent a little bit of time going back through recordings of things that happened. I found them wishing Mackenzie's dad a happy birthday night before last. I hadn't seen that reported, so I recorded that and pasted it. Saw a video that someone shared of some stuff that Angela said that I thought was funny, shared that. But I didn't just see, again, watching the feeds, I didn't get a sense of what was going to happen as far as with T-Core and with Rubina. I just don't know right now. So we'll wait and see, right? And you'll wait along with me. Anything else to tell you guys? I'm trying to get this thing done before I get near to work this time, because lately the last 2 miles of my drive have been a bit harrowing, and I've been a bit distracted, and I don't think you enjoy listening to me suddenly stop talking and yelling at pedestrians or talking to them until they can't hear me. So I'm trying to get this done a little bit ahead of time for a change. What else? I don't know. We're getting really close to the end. Oh, here's a thought. Dr. Will Kirby has announced that he's not going to. This is the last year of him hosting the roundtable discussions, and everyone's doing a big thing. I'm not going to knock Will Kirby. He was very good on his, on his Big Brother appearances. He's a very intelligent player, very good at manipulating. He was a kid the first time he was on, and he was a brat. And he managed to, we loved him. We hated him to start. We loved him in the end. He has milked this for all it's worth. And, he's never seemed to take the show too seriously. And now he's going out like some elder statesman, and it's just very bizarre to read these articles that are going out about him and just his words of wisdom and all this. I just thought, okay, whatever. Bye, Will. Sorry, been good to see you. I don't know who's going to host next, but the jury roundtable didn't used to be hosted. The jury roundtable used to be done. If we go back in the history of it, they used to do it. We didn't even get to see it. They would wait. They would be down to 2 house guests, right? And we didn't have 3 house guests. You only had 2 house guests left. And then they would have the jury get together, and the jury would drink, by the way. The jury would be partying. This is like early seasons. And we didn't see the questioning live, but they would shut down the feeds and they would do the questioning, and then they would come back from the questioning, and because they all pre-recorded it. Like, they show the jury now where they talk to each other, but really what they would do is they would have the jury get together as a group and ask questions, and they would play that, and that was the jury roundtable, except for they would have the house guests there. I don't remember them doing a, quote, jury sit down around a table and talk. What they really was, they had the jury sit down around a table and question the house guests, and that's what they showed us. And it was very interesting. It was a bit more raw, and they could talk more because they recorded it. And then they started doing this jury roundtable with Will, conducting it. I think they didn't used to have a host. I think they would have an unhosted jury roundtable now that I think about it, and so they threw Will in there to kind of host it. And it is what it is. We don't necessarily need a host. We can just have them ask each other questions, which is like kind of what they used to do. They would just say, "So what do you think?" and "What do you think?" It's a bit stilted and it's a bit awkward, but it is what it is. All right, enough of that. So Will stepping down. I really don't care who they replace him with. I won't be happy with it no matter what, but because that's how I am. So, anything else? No. Survivor started last night. There's the other thing. Survivor started last night. I haven't watched it, but damn it if I didn't find out who went out first. Right I managed to mute the hashtag Survivor47. So those of you that do or don't know, most of you should know. You know you can mute words, right? You can go into your settings in Twitter and you can say, don't show me any tweets that contain these words. And most of the accounts I follow are fairly responsible. And I'm not saying you don't have to be, but they usually hashtag anything they write about Survivor with hashtag Survivor47, which means it's a way to first get people to find your tweets, because you just look for that tweet hashtag and you'll find anybody who's tweeting with it. But it's also a way to say, don't show me anything that has that in there. That way you miss most of what these accounts say, because most of them do that. They're talking, whatever they're talking about, they put a hashtag there, which kind of lets you kind of filter. Well, I didn't filter out just plain Survivor. And one of the accounts that I follow that doesn't tweet very often, that's the problem. They don't tweet very often, so I don't think about it. They tweeted a comment they retweeted someone else's comment showing who got evicted with their thoughts. They actually hashtagged it hashtag Survivor, but I hadn't muted hashtag Survivor, so it popped up on my timeline. It was about the person who got voted off the island, and I saw it and now I know. It's okay. I'm fine. This is part of if you don't want to know what's going to happen on a reality show like Survivor or Big Brother, you need to stay off social media until after the show until after you've watched the show. And Survivor is not a destination TV show for me where I have to watch it the night it's on. I can watch it whenever. So I'll watch the premiere episode of Survivor because I'm kind of intrigued, because I do know, I know a couple of the people that are involved in the show this season, and there's a couple of people that obviously there's a person from a very well-known podcast that's on this season, and so I'm interested and intrigued to see it. But the premiere was a 2-hour premiere, and I just didn't have it in me to watch it, so I just muted everybody that was talking about it and thought I'd watch it later, and I probably still will. Okay, anything else? No, I'm wrapping this up with one more thought. I'm going to do this, damn it. I want to, and I'll probably write a post. I'm going to do this. I need to make a collection of all of the Big Brother resources that are available out there. And I say that, and if there is already a compendium of resources, and maybe it is on Big Brother Wikipedia, not Wikipedia Big Brother, but there's a Big Brother wiki. There's a couple of different, all-encompassing Big Brother informational sites about the show, but I don't know if there's about people that talk about the show. There's so many podcasts out there. There's so many websites out there. I have my go-to websites, right, that I go to. But honestly, there's other places that are putting out content that I never even look at. And I don't look at a ton of content, but when I want to get something real quick, if I missed something and I want to make sure I haven't missed something, I'll drop to a couple sites. For me, and up until recently, I never went to Dingo's. I never went to her site. I mean, I would occasionally go to it, but I didn't do it regularly. But I've been checking her site out fairly regularly lately to see what's going on, if I miss things. She has totally a different spin on things than, say, Big Brother Network. And I've talked about Big Brother Network in the past. That's one of the sites that I've usually gone to kind of get timestamps, which was great when you had flashback. And I still have access to be able to go back and look at times if I want to. So it's actually helpful to me if I wanted to. But there's been so many recordings posted out there lately that I haven't even needed to. I've gone back and found things, and I have in the last 24 hours. I've gone back and found some recordings to share. But Big Brother Network is to me a good resource. Dingo's Hamster Watch is a good. It's just called Hamster Watch, is a good resource. But there are other ones too, like Big Brother Access is an account I follow, and I don't know if they're doing recaps this season, but they have been in the past, and I honestly hardly ever read them. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just you can only spend so much time doing stuff. But there's different strokes for different folks, and there are things that I don't even follow. Rob has a podcast. I don't follow Rob Has a Podcast, especially about Big Brother. I just don't. It goes back to when I was doing a podcast full-time with Scott and Colette, and it was a direct competitor, and I really just did not want to watch what they had to say, because if they had an opinion that I was parroting, or that I had a similar opinion, some people might think I was copying what they were saying. I was like, no, I don't want. These are my own thoughts. I'm not watching somebody else and grabbing hold of their thoughts as mine. So I just avoided watching the show, and I still. It's hard for me to watch other podcasts with opinions because I have my own, and I end up just getting frustrated that I can't express mine on those things. That's why I do this, because I can just talk to myself. So I'm going to see if there's a need to make up a web page where I can say, here's all the places that you can go to find information about Big Brother that aren't just Twitter or Instagram, which I don't go to, or Threads, which I tried, it doesn't work for me, or Facebook, I won't go to Facebook, or YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that YouTube about Big Brother, and I don't watch any of them, and it's a whole different world, a whole different, experience, and those all exist. And I exist in my little tiny world of Twitter, me and this little podcast where, about 1,000 people a day listen to me talk. And, it's not a huge audience in the end, but I appreciate all of you. And I don't know if my stats are good, but I know my Spreaker reports somewhere there about 1,000, up, give or take a little bit. Depending on what's going on, listen, and then I know how many tweets, how many people read my Twitter. I don't know how many people read my Twitter. I don't understand my Twitter stats at all. I don't know how I have 100 and however many thousand followers. I don't know how many are legit at this point. I know people follow me. So, anyways, I'm gonna find all that. I'm gonna. Yes, I keep telling myself that, but then Big Brother will be over and I'll be done with it, and I won't do it. But I'm going to try. I have good intentions, right? All right, so that's what I got for you guys. I went longer than I expected. I, of course, started wrapping up 10 minutes before I finished talking. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. I will talk to you this afternoon. We'll see if T-Core or Rubina are the ones going to jury tonight. And they did drop a hint at the end of last night's show, which this wasn't on Big Brother Network site, and so I haven't gone to see it. But the announcer said at the end of Thursday's show, apparently, that the head of household competition would start live on the show. We also think that they're going to be staying in the backyard all day today, because it is today and they're still in the backyard. And so they may not go back in the house until after the show ends or when the show ends. They may do the head of household competition in the backyard as a janky head of household. We're just not sure on the details, and of course we won't know. And so that could be interesting to see what happens as far as the head of household competition, if it's going to be strange or different or weird or however. And I'll talk more about that this afternoon maybe, because now we're into the end game stuff for tonight, and I can talk about that later. So there we go. That's it. I'm done. Take care. Thank you for all of your support. As always, I do appreciate every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and we'll talk to you this afternoon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.